right, today is January 10th, 2009. This is the Harry Thomas Show Week in Review. I'm your host, Harry Thomas. All the information I talk about on today's show can be found at harrythomas.info. Well, we're into the new year now. And what I want to talk about on the show today is what's going on over at the Gaza Strip. And I want to talk about the new Obama puppet. And that's exactly what he is. He's a puppet for the international bankers. And as I said in the last show a couple months ago, the worst is yet to come. I want to thank all the supporters of this show. And I want to apologize to those that I'm not getting back to that want to be a guest on the show. I mean, this is not my job. Now, of course, freedom is everybody's job. I mean, I don't make any money off doing this. And, you know, having a talk show is not my job. I appreciate the offers I've gotten from some networks that want to carry it, but this is not my job. I need to have my job to make money and pay my bills just like everybody else. And this is about as big as I can afford, to tell you the truth. I just work in a pizza shop. I'm just an ordinary guy that is very alarmed and very in tune with what's going on geopolitically. I understand exactly what the New World Order is. I understand exactly how far progressed they are in the game. So, you know, to those of you that get upset when I don't do shows and stuff, you know, besides the fact that I have health problems, which some of you know, I'm doing the best I can. And the one thing that the Ron Paul movement taught me, not only did I find it very infiltrated with federal agents, I also found that it's very important to get out into the community and wake your own community up. And that's the purpose of this show, is to alert people about corruption, about the push for world government, who's behind it, and how to mobilize into energizing people into educating other people about what is really going on, the fact that the media is controlled by these same international globalists. So again, this is not my job, but they're openly announcing everything. I'm getting backed into a corner here. I mean, I'm seeing this all over the place. They're just coming out and announcing, not that we need a world government, a one world order, but this is what we're doing. I mean, they're just announcing it. This is what we're doing now. This is not what we need to do. They're not trying to sell you now. They're announcing it. It's in the language. It's everywhere. I mean, I deal with this all the time, and now people are going back into sleep now. A lot of those who were energized and woken up because the Bush administration was in there and they hated Bush, they're going to go back to sleep, and now they're all, being wooed in by Obama. And I'm going to weigh in on Obama briefly. This guy is no different than George Bush, who is no different than Bill Clinton, who is no different than Jimmy Carter, or any of the ones that they put in there. Ronald Reagan, they're all just puppets. You understand? This goes all the way back. And if you don't do what the international banking community wants, then they just kill you like they did Kennedy when he started announcing that he was going to get rid of the Federal Reserve and the CIA and stuff. They just off you if you don't do their bidding. I mean, look what they did that to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. There's a ton of them. The list goes on and on. The international bankers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, they have funds, foundations that are just controlling everything. Think tanks. That's who's funding this, is these international bankers. And these bankers and these big, large corporations, they run and control everything, including Obama. And all they are is a bunch of inbred elitists who think that they are better than you. That you should be controlled like a slave, that you're a serf, that you are nothing. And that they are superior intellectually, physically, and everything. And they hold the power, less than 1% of the population, and they control all of the serfs. And they want to have more control. because they are sick. Hopefully, this is going to backfire on all the people who are going back into sleep mode because they're like, oh, Obama. Everybody, they're saying just trust in Obama and, everything's going to be okay. Well, this is not the case. The case is this guy is for total gun control. This guy is a communist, has links. They're pretty much, they admit it. Everybody around him is a communist. They're Marxist Leninists. And, I mean, his wife is a director of the Chicago Council on Foreign Relations. So, his chief advisor, Brzezinski, openly talks about New World Order, One World Government, and just stuff that is just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable that people are actually falling for this. And then we got what's going on over here in the Gaza Strip. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Zionism. And I am not a Zionist. I'm not a Jew. I'm not a Palestinian. I'm not with Hamas. I'm not with AIPAC. But this is what I understand about Zionism is the philosophy itself now. It started as a political movement to create the state of Israel, a Jewish state. And it was pretty much sold and now continues on as a political idea. And it's basically sold as in the interest of preserving Jewish heritage, moving to further along prosperity for the Jewish people. And that's all fine and dandy. I'm not too big on groups that are only out for just themselves to begin with. I mean, it's all fine and dandy to have pride in your heritage and all that, but when you're funded by the French international banking interest, the family of Rothschild, who basically funded this Zionist movement, and the state of Israel wouldn't exist without that funding. So when you trace that back right to the Rothschilds, which are the enemy, I have lots of doubts, lots of serious doubts about the motives behind Zionism. So we know that it was funded by the international bankers as a control mechanism. They set up an Israel state who now is a nuclear power and is going around breaking international law and the Geneva Convention, and this is according to the UN's own reports, the model for world government. And the UN says that they are in violation of law. Apparently, according to Press TV, Israel moved Gazans into a house and then bombed it. And remember, this is only one example of atrocities. So what they did is they went in there and they said, and half of them were children, and they said, you stay in this building or this facility and you don't come out. And then later on they came back and bombed it. And this is the kind of stuff that is going on, which is totally, totally against the law. We got here UK Reuters reported that the U.S. Senate supports the Israel-Gaza incursion. And if you look on the United States media, it's a really one-sided story. It's totally backing Israel, and it's not telling the side of the Palestinians at all, or even explaining that what's going on over there is war crimes, and explaining that the people in the Gaza Strip are being cut off of vital supplies like food and stuff and medicine,